Hey guys, so let's talk about last night's episode of The Originals. This episode I felt like added so many more layers to the whole story, and it's like we've been kind of getting the surface idea of what's going on, and this week we learned some stuff about the witches that just kind of blows that all apart. So we get the origin story for Davina and why she's so powerful, and we also really start to understand what Sophie Devereaux really wants. I think so far we've been thinking she just wants Klaus to come in to get rid of Marcus so the witches can kind of go back to doing their thing, but really it is way deeper than that. So we get that the witches were trying to perform this spell called the Harvest, where they basically take 4 of the youngest witches in their coven, they sacrifice them, and then what is supposed to happen is in the reaping, they're supposed to be resurrected and be more powerful than they were when they died. Sophie's freaking out because one of her nieces is chosen for the harvest, and she doesn't believe in it, she doesn't believe it's real. We get that there was a little kind of like friends with benefits going on between Sophie and Marcus. So Sophie tells Marcus what's going on with the witches, and the vampires show up at the last minute to stop the witches from kind of completing their spell. Now, the 4 girls that have been chosen for this whole harvest business, right? The problem is that the witches don't tell them the truth. They tell them, oh, we're just gonna cut your hand and blah, blah, blah. But then, of course, when it comes time for the actual ceremony, all of a sudden they start cutting throats. Davina was one of the girls that was chosen. She is the last girl. So the reason that Davina is so powerful is that as each of the 4 sacrifices dies, their power is passed on to the next girl. So since Davina was the last girl, she has the power of all of the witches that were before her. And what we get at the end of the episode, though, is that the harvest was real. So she just thought they lied to us and they were going to sacrifice us to get the power. And in reality, they did lie to her. So yes, she should be angry. But if all of the witches die, the 4 of them die, then they would have all raised when the reaping comes. Now, the kicker about this is that, of course, we get that Davina didn't die. And because Marcus is protecting her, there's nothing the witches can do about that. So if the reaping comes and she hasn't died, then all of the witches are going to lose their power. And that would kind of be a problem for them. By the end of the episode, we get that Sophie's real deal is that she's kind of trying to redeem herself to her sister. So her sister Jane Ann, it was her daughter that died in the harvest, and Sophie kind of caused all of the problems because she didn't believe that it was real until it was too late. And so she's really trying to make things right. Now, last week we got that Elijah was awake. Yay! I love him so much, you guys, and I know you know that already, but I am gonna gush about Elijah in this review because I was just so excited that he was awake, and he was just doing his whole gentlemanly, honorable Elijah stuff, and I absolutely love it. We know that he stayed behind, you know, that Rebecca could have rescued him last week, but he stayed because he wanted to talk to Davina, and so he gets the story from her of why she has this power, and he also offers her his help. And Elijah, he just does his thing. You get that he wins her over because he is honorable and she starts to trust him. At the end of the episode, we do see Elijah reunited with his family, so that was really touching, especially, you know, when Rebecca saw him, she was so excited, and that was really cool. You guys, is it just me, or are we noting the kind of flirty eye look between Haley and Elijah, right? And I've been wondering if this was going to happen, especially because of how Haley reacted when Elijah was gone. It's definitely an interesting vibe to the story, right? Because you get that Klaus is not going to love that. And it reminds me so much of the flashbacks on the Vampire Diaries, for those of you who watch TVD. Do you remember the flashbacks they did with Klaus and Elijah and Catherine, right? And you got the idea that Klaus wanted Catherine, obviously for a lot of different reasons, but that Elijah was kind of falling in love with her, and Klaus just thought that was weakness, basically, because he thinks love is weakness, because he's Klaus. So this wouldn't be the first time that a woman has come between the two of them. Part of me feels like, does Klaus love Haley? No, I don't think he does. But I also think that Klaus feels like she belongs to him because of the baby, and so he's not gonna be too happy, I think, if something's gonna happen between Haley and Elijah. So I'm excited to see what happens, you guys. Would love to hear what you guys thought about this episode and what you think about the whole Haley and Elijah thing, yay or nay. I say yay, go for it. As always, you guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.